Hey beauty babes, welcome to my channel. I'm Maria, aka Agape Love Girl. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I'm back with my beauty replay video. Now, if you are new here, beauty replay is a series I do on my channel every month at the beginning of the month, talking about all the products that I tried the previous month. Some of them are brand new to the market and some of them are just new to me. And I like to come on camera after a month of testing them out to be able to fully review the products and replay the products. So in addition to hearing my updated thoughts on these products after having tested them out for the month, you will also see a video on the screen here replaying some of the footage that I have using those products. Now that footage does come from other videos that are here on my channel already, as well as on my IGTV. So if you would like to see the full videos, if you have not seen them yet, with my first impressions and demos and things like that, I will link those videos either in the eye or the description box, so you can check there if you'd like to see the full videos. But anyways, if you are only interested in certain products that I'm going to be talking about this month, I will have timestamps in the description box for all the products that I'm going to be talking about, so you can skip around to learn about the products you are most interested in. But anyways, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, I do have a lot of products to talk about, so I'm going to try to be as speedy as I can while still being as informative as I can. So the first couple of products I have to talk about are from a brand called MBA Cosmetics, which is one of my very favorite indie brands. You guys all probably know that by now. I do have an affiliate code with them. The code is AGAPELOVE for 10% off, so if you're interested in any of these products, you can use that code to save some money. But anyways, now the first products I want to talk about are these new little palettes. This is the Hippie Chic palette, and this is an all shimmer palette. Lots of really beautiful, vibrant colors. And then this is the Garden Party palette, which has a mix of mattes as well as complementary shimmer shades. Now the MBA Cosmetics eyeshadow formula is one of my favorites. You guys probably all know that by now, so it's no secret. So I don't feel like I have to go in crazy depth about these palettes, my thoughts on them. You guys know probably that I love them. I think they're beautiful. These palettes are just $20. You're getting 8 shadows in them. I think they're wonderful. This one is not going to be for everybody, clearly, because it is such vibrant, pretty colors and there are no mattes in it. So really this is for somebody who just wants some pretty shimmers. They're very pigmented and beautiful. I've done a couple looks with this palette, including one IGTV video. If that video is live, I will link it in the description box below. Definitely check it out. And then I did do a full video testing out a bunch of new products from MBA Cosmetics, and I mostly used this palette because in this palette there are some brand new mattes from MBA Cosmetics, and so I really wanted to test those out on camera so you guys can see them, and I love them. They're beautiful, beautiful mattes. I really enjoyed this palette. If you guys have not checked out MBA Cosmetics yet, I do encourage you to do so. It is a woman-owned small business brand that I think is really under the radar, a hidden gem that I really wish more people knew about. But anyways, I have a couple other products from MBA Cosmetics. They released this Glow Dust Trio. You can get all 3 of these with the compacts for $30, or if you want that there's only one that you're interested in, you can buy them individually. You can buy the pan only of this. This has come out for $9 like this, or with the compact for $11. So if you're getting the bundle, you do save a little bit of money. But anyways, these are really, really beautiful. They are called their Glow Dust. Essentially, they're kind of like a highlighter, but they can be used as eyeshadows. Now, they're kind of like this iridescent, very like neon-y highlighter eyeshadow kind of thing that works as beautifully as like toppers or a fun pop of highlight. I've mostly been using them for my like inner corner pop of color. They're really, really beautiful. My favorite is this one. I believe this one's called Glow Stick, the purple one, but the pink one is really beautiful as well. It's pink with kind of like a golden green shift, and then there is this blue one that has a little bit of a slight violet shift to it. They are stunning, and I've really enjoyed playing around with these this month. Now the last thing from new from MBA Cosmetics is probably the most exciting thing, and that is their Chromaflakes. Now these are very interesting. I don't think these are going to be for everybody because they are a little bit difficult to work with. They definitely take a little bit of a learning curve to get used to, but I do think it's a really neat product. Now, as I mentioned, I did a video testing out some new products from MBA Cosmetics, and I used this palette. I also used the Chromaflakes in that video, and then I even swatched all 9 shades that I have of the Chromaflakes. I think there's 15 shades total, maybe a little bit more, but I only have 9 of them, and I swatched all of them. So if you want to see what all the shades that I got look like swatched in the eye, definitely check out that video because you can see all the swatches there and see how I applied them and things like that. But anyways, the Chromaflakes are basically these flakes eyeshadow flakes, and they're really beautiful. They're multi-dimensional. What's great about these is that they're going to give you kind of that foiled, glittery, sparkly looking effect. If you're someone who likes the shiny look of glitter and things like that, but you don't like glitter, or you are not comfortable using glitter, this would be a really great alternative because these are eye safe. They're considered eyeshadow, not glitter, but they have that sparkly, pretty effect to them. However, because they are flakes, they're very, very lightweight, so they kind of just float around everywhere. So you have to be very, very careful when you open up the tube. There's no sifter to this, so it's just like an open jar with the flakes, and if you're not careful, if you breathe too heavy on them, if you have a fan going, they might kind of like float around the air and get everywhere. And you definitely want to do your eye makeup first when you're using these, because if you do already have the rest of your face on, once these kind of fall out on your face, they're really hard to remove. So definitely use these first if you do use them. Now, in my video where I swatched them all in my eyes, I did use an eyeshadow primer. I used the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer to apply these. I don't think you need to use an expensive primer. You just need some kind of primer for sure, or glitter glue will work. You need some kind of sticky or just something for the flakes to stick to. You want to pat something on your eye and then have a little bit of stick here so they can stick to your finger and then stick to your eye. One thing to know is that they do apply best with a finger. I did try using a brush with these and didn't find that they worked as well. I didn't prefer it. Normally, I prefer using a brush with any of my products. I don't like having to use my finger for any kind of makeup products personally, but I did find that that was the best way to apply them. And also, I did end up trying these with MBA Cosmetics Glitter Foil and Line Effects Serum, which is a serum adhesive, as the name suggests. And at first, I didn't think I would like it because I felt like it was a little bit too liquidy and just wasn't really working well with the flakes, but that's because I was using it with a brush, and I feel like the brush is really what was hindering it. But I did try it again recently, and this stuff actually works really, really wonderfully. So if you don't already have a primer, eyeshadow primer, or glitter glue, this might be something you want to look into if you're going to purchase any of these anyways on the MBA Cosmetics site. This is only $6, so it's really, really affordable. A little bit goes a long way. Like I said, it's a serum adhesive. You just want to squirt a little drop of it out. Just like the littlest bit will do. When I tried it like this with my finger, this stuff almost works like a magnet with these Chromaflakes. So you want to put, you can see how like serum it is. Get a little bit on your finger. You'll want to dab that onto your eye, and then you'll open up the Chromaflakes, and like I said, this serum works like a magnet to pull up these flakes. Like, look at that. Wow. And it just holds on right there. And I'm just going to go ahead and put some of these on my hand right here. As I'm doing that, I mean, you probably can't see on the camera, but the flakes are kind of going everywhere. Go like this and start patting some of that down. And you can see like how it goes on like foil. And once it's on your eye, especially with this serum, they stay. And I feel like this serum specifically makes the flakes look more foiled and have this beautiful foiled effect. So really, really beautiful, but do take a little bit of a learning curve. I don't think this is going to be a product for everybody because of how messy it can be. But they are absolutely beautiful. So if there's something you're interested in, they are kind of a little bit more of an expensive product. I definitely recommend using either my affiliate code or wait for a sale if you're not comfortable using affiliate codes. But anyways, I really enjoyed those products. I think they're beautiful. I will note that when I did the eye swatches, there were some shades that I didn't like as much as others, because I feel like once they're on the eye, the shift transforms a little bit and it wasn't quite what I like. So I definitely encourage you guys to watch that video so you can see what I mean and choose which of these Chromaflakes you like best. But anyways, with all that being said, let's go and move on. All right, next up is a product that I was sent as a kind of PR gifting. I was reached out to by the Face Halo, and they sent me a package of their little face halos, which if you have not heard of the Face Halo, it is basically like a makeup removing little round cloth. So before I get into my thoughts on that, I just want to let you guys know that they sent me that as well as their Face Halo body halo thing. I have not used this one yet because I haven't felt the need to use the body halo, or I don't really do body makeup. I imagine you could probably use this as like an exfoliator if you want to, because it kind of has this like, look how big it is, this kind of more exfoliating side and then this very soft side. But like I said, I don't have really a review on that because I haven't used it. But in case you're someone who does body makeup or needs to like wash your whole body, that's an option too of something they have. So I appreciate them sending that over, but I haven't had a chance to use it. So let's get to the Face Halo. Now, when they reached out to me, I was actually really curious about this product, and I said of course I would love to try it. And just so you guys know, this is not sponsored. I didn't have to post about this. They really didn't. They said if you like it, feel free to share about it. You don't have to. If not, it's cool, whatever, which I thought was really, really cool because I was skeptical. I didn't think I would like this. Now, if you know me, you know that I do like makeup removing cloths. I've always used like the makeup eraser or like kind of off-brand versions of the makeup eraser, and I prefer that. I love that way of removing my makeup. But if I had a complaint about the makeup eraser, it is the size. So this is about the size. I think this is more of an off-brand of the makeup eraser, but this is the exact same size. It's like this long, narrow, kind of rounded cloth. And while I think it's a good size, I always felt like I ran out of space, like it just wasn't enough. And one thing about the makeup eraser I don't love is that like one side's soft for removing makeup, as you can see, and this side is a different kind of cloth, and they say it's like the exfoliating side, so you would remove your makeup and then use this side to like exfoliate. That never made sense to me. I never really used it that way. I only ever used the makeup removing side, so I always felt like I ran out of space, and as you can see, it also stains. So anyways, that being said, I was skeptical if I would like this because of how small it is. I'm like, if I feel like I need more space with the bigger cloth, how am I going to feel about using this small little round thing? How is that really going to do, you know, remove all my makeup without running out of space? But this actually does a really great job. But one thing, or a couple things that are different, is that this has the makeup removing cloth. It's soft on both sides. So I don't have to just use one side to remove my makeup. I can switch it over and use both sides. So you do have both sides, but this is also a lot thicker. It's hard to tell probably, but this is a very, very thin cloth, and this is quite a bit thicker and feels softer and thicker, and so I feel like it actually holds and absorbs a lot more water, which I feel like when you're using these type of products, the more water you use, the better. It really helps to remove the makeup in addition to these little fibers or whatever. And I feel like that makes a difference. The fact that it's thicker and I can use both sides, and it does a really great job. And I believe I've been able to remove pretty much my whole face of makeup within 30-45 seconds. It's very, very quick, very, very effective. I've really been enjoying this. Additionally, another thing I really, really love about it is that you get a 3-pack. You get 3 of these face halos, and they come packaged like this for $22, which I think is a very comparable price because the makeup eraser is $20 for just the one cloth. So what's convenient about that is that you're getting 3 of these halos so that when one gets too dirty, I usually just wash mine by hand after I remove my makeup and set it on something to dry. And so I've only had to wash it once this last month and switch out to another one. But I love that they come in a 3-pack, so that way when you're washing one, you have another fresh, clean one to use in between. And you have it used, so there's 3 of them. I think that's great compared to just the one cloth you have with the makeup eraser at $20. So if you need to wash it, you need to hurry up and wash it and get it back into use. Otherwise, have a backup, and that would be $40 for a backup, where it's $22 for 3 of these. So that's a really great price, I think. Additionally, I love that this is black. So they do, I believe, have a white one, but I really appreciate that they sent me the black one because, as you can see, you can't see the stains compared to this pretty pink cloth, sure, but it is stained, and this is a clean cloth. This has been washed, but it's stained. And so I appreciate that it has the black one where you're not going to see stains of like colorful makeup or my mascara and things like that. So I really have been loving this so much, and I don't think I will go back to my other makeup erasers or makeup removing cloths. I really, I'm totally sold to the face halo, so I really appreciate them sending me these, and I would recommend them. I just like makeup removing cloths in general too because they're a lot better and less waste than using you know, disposable makeup cloths. So I would recommend these regardless, you know what I mean? Like, I love this type of product, and I like this one a lot more than I thought I would, so it's a win. Alright, this next product I have to share with you is a fail for me. Oh my goodness, it's a big fail. I did do a video on this already and tested it out, and in that video I talked about it was a little bit of fail in that video. I kind of got it to work, but I wanted to keep playing around with it to see if I would get it to work later on in the month and update. No, it was still a fail for me. So this is a product I purchased myself, and these are the Ardell magnetic liner and lashes system kit, whatever you want to call it. I was really, really excited about this kit because it's only $15, which is a much more affordable and reasonable price compared to like the $100 kits of other magnetic liners and stuff like that. I had seen one review of it before I purchased it, and it was a good review. I did read a couple of reviews, and a lot of people had said they're really great, they work, blah, blah, blah. So I was really thrilled and excited. And then when they didn't really work for me, I was really bummed. I thought maybe I was doing something wrong. There were a few disadvantages I had to these lashes in that video. If you watched it, you know. If not, definitely check that video out so you can see what I mean. So I thought, okay, maybe I need to try it again with no makeup. I need to do a few other things to maybe make it work a little bit better. Every time I tried it, they still did not work. They just didn't stick, and I felt like it was worse and worse every time I tried it. Every time I tried it, the magnets just wouldn't stick, you know, they would stick even less. So it was like worse every time I tried it. So this was a fail for me. After I filmed my video, I did end up going back to YouTube and watching a few other reviews on it to see, like, okay, is anybody else having this issue? Is this just me? And every other review I saw was a good review. They worked for everybody. So I was like, I don't understand. But interestingly enough, on my video, I actually got a couple of comments from people saying that they purchased it and had the same issue as me, like it wasn't sticking. So it kind of makes me wonder if maybe there is a bad batch of the magnetic liner, that maybe for some people it's not working, because it seems to be working amazingly for other people. And I don't know. I feel like I got a bad batch. The gel liner just doesn't work, so this was a fail for me, unfortunately. So I would not recommend these, even though they're a more affordable option, or possibly purchase at your own risk, because $15 is cheap, but if it doesn't work, it's a waste of money regardless. So I'm bummed out by these. I don't know what the deal is, because they work for others, but they did not work for me. So that is a fail. Okay, really quickly, I want to talk about this. This is a new skincare item that I was using last month, and I'll probably obviously continue using it this month, but this is the Derma E Anti-Wrinkle Treatment. It has rosehip and grapeseed oils along with vitamin A and E. If you can tell, this is about how much I use. I didn't use this like every single day last month. I would say probably 2 to 3 times a week is what I used it. I mostly use this in the mornings because I am pretty set in my skincare routine in the evenings with my PCA skincare. And so I would usually wash my face in the mornings. I always keep it very simple in the mornings. I just wash my face, and then I would pop this on because I do have dry skin, and I love using oils for my skin. I use all kinds of carrier oils as well as some essential oils and things like that for my skin. I find they work great. And I really enjoyed this. Now, it does take quite a bit of time to really absorb into the skin, so your skin can tend to feel a little bit greasy or oily for a bit after you use this. So I never used this when I was going to be applying makeup right away. I usually did it, like I said, in the morning and wait a few hours before I was going to do my makeup, or put it on when I knew I had a few hours before I had to do my makeup and things like that. So it's definitely, in my opinion, not a product you want to use right before makeup unless you have extremely dry skin and need oil for your foundation and stuff like that. But anyways, but I did enjoy using it. I feel like it helps make my skin feel smooth and soft and plump and hydrated, and I really enjoy it. So obviously I don't feel like I've used it enough to have like a full review on if it's transforming my skin or not, but like I said, I like oils in general. I really enjoy this product and have been enjoying using it. I love Derma E products in general, so been enjoying that this month. All right, next up I have a bunch of new products from Urban Decay to tell you about. Some of them are brand new to the market. Some of them are not super new, but they are new to me, and I tried them out for the first time last month. So I'm going to go in and get into the products that aren't as new because I do have some thoughts still to share with you guys. So up first is the Stay Naked Weightless Liquid Foundation, and this is a product that I feel like have inconclusive thoughts about. Now, I did use this the most last month to really try to gauge my thoughts. It's actually the foundation I have on today, and this is a product that I'm going to go ahead and keep in my makeup basket because I feel like I still want to use it and see what I think. But I will just say, like, spoiler alert, overall I feel like this product is a little bit of a fail for me, and I'm really sad to say that because there's a lot of good qualities about it that I think would make it a foundation that I would like, but it's such a finicky foundation, and I can't quite place like my finger on what exactly is making this foundation not quite work for me. So let me just say a few pros about it, things that I like about it. It is a very, very fluid foundation. Like, it's a very thin, lightweight foundation. So when you put it on your skin, you don't feel it. It's so insanely lightweight, and I typically like that about I typically like that about a foundation. Secondly, it does not need to be set. Now, I'm a powder girl. I love applying and packing on the powders. Even if I don't necessarily need it, I will still usually put on powders, but I've been kind of doing this thing last month, and I kind of think I'm going to bring it into this month where I'm not using as much powders, and I've been liking that. And it's been enjoyable to have products like this that don't necessarily need to be set and still look really good. So those are some good things about it. But the problem I have been having with it is that this is a very finicky foundation, that it seems to look different on my skin every time I've applied it to my face. Like, some days I'll apply it and it looks decent. It looks pretty good. I feel like it looks good today. I feel like I had to work it a little bit. Oh, I wish it had mirrored by me. I was going to look up close a little bit better. I was able to work it a little bit today, but I was having a little bit of difficulty. I feel like the consensus with every time I've used it, it's looked really bad on my nose. But anyways, when I use it with my Juno & Co. lemon sponge, it's like a microfiber sponge, the lemon one, I think it applied really well. Still a little bit finicky, but it applied, I think, pretty good with that, and I think it applied probably the best with a makeup sponge. It went on really well. But then when I applied it with like brushes, it kind of just streaks around, and like, it's the type of product that you put it on your skin, and instead of just really like melding into your skin, you know how you put on a foundation and it goes on, it just starts blending and melding into your skin and it looks natural. This one, I feel like it just sits on top of the skin and just moves around, like smears around the face. So that was my main issue with it, is that I put it on and start like applying it with a brush, or you know, even like I said, the microfiber sponge did better, but still had it was a little bit finicky and just kind of looked like it was smearing around on my face. And I'm like, why is this not working? I feel like one of the biggest culprits is that with a primer, it looks worse. On its own, it looks a little bit better. So I need to test it out some more this month and see. But I think overall, like this, it's too finicky for me to like. I want to like it because there's things about it that I like, but it takes a while. It takes a little extra love and care, and I don't like that. It's really frustrating to me. Additionally, because it is such a thin fluid foundation, for me to get good coverage with this, I probably need about 5 to 6 pumps, where normally a normal foundation I maybe need 2 pumps of a foundation. So if you're someone who needs like full coverage or even medium coverage, this may not be for you, because you're going to go through it very, very quickly. I feel like I've already used quite a bit of this, and I was only using it 1 month, and not even every day of the month, because there was other foundations I was using. This is the one I use the most, but still I feel like I've used this way too quickly for how long I've used it, you know what I mean? So I think that's a downside. So if you're someone who needs good coverage, this won't be for you. If you're someone who doesn't necessarily need a ton of coverage, but you just want like a little filtered look, or my skin but better kind of look, this might be a foundation for you if you can get it to not be so finicky. So I just got to keep playing around with it. But overall, I will say that I don't hate this foundation, but I do think it's a little bit of a fail because of how finicky it is to work with, and it's not easy to just apply and blend on the skin. It takes a little bit of babying and some extra love and care. So kind of a fail for me, but I'm going to keep playing with it and see if my mind changes at all. If there's any other ways that I can apply it better, maybe that'll help. I don't know, but yeah, for right now, that's going to be a little bit of a fail. Okay, up next is the Stay Naked Correcting Concealer. Again, not necessarily a brand new product to the market, but new to me. This is a product that I'm a little bit frustrated by as well. I'm gonna say right off the bat, I think this is gonna be a fail product for me as well. But that makes me sad too. So interestingly enough, I feel like this is a primer. This is a concealer that works better if you apply it before your foundation. Now, there were a couple days where I applied this before my foundation because there was a powder foundation I'm going to be talking about that I was trying. And so when I did the powder foundation, I would do concealer first. And when I applied this concealer first, I think it went on pretty well. It gave me really good coverage. In the video I did testing out some of these new products, I did the liquid on one side with the concealer, as well as the powder on the other side with the concealer. And you guys, if you haven't seen that video, I'll link it. But I did a wear test and things like that. And even in that video, I noticed that the coverage with this on my skin before anything else was beautiful, was great. But I noticed if you put this on top of another product like a foundation, the coverage was not as good. Like it just wasn't there. Like it just went away. I don't know. There was a day that I filmed my makeup and I had to do 4 layers of this. I'm not even kidding. I kept putting it on and then it was like the coverage disappeared. It almost is like this is such a sticky, it doesn't feel sticky, but it's like a type of concealer where like you go to blend it in and it almost picks up on itself. Like it sticks to itself and picks up on itself. So like you go to blend it in and then you lose coverage and then you'll have to kind of wait, let it set a little bit, put on some more to get more coverage. But I don't know, it just kept going away. I feel like it's just a product that doesn't play well with others, interestingly enough. And most of the time I used it on top of its own foundation. So it doesn't quite make sense to me why this doesn't work. It has the ability to give good coverage when it is working, but a lot of the times I used it, I felt like I didn't get good coverage. And I'm really sad because I'm pretty sure this is replacing the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer, which is their old kind of, I would say, version of this. This is a newer version, but I don't like this one as much. I don't think this one works as well. I like the fact that when I did use it, it didn't need to be set, same as the foundation, but it just didn't give me the coverage that I really wanted. It's just very difficult to work with, so unfortunately this is a fail for me. So anyways, moving along to a brand new product from Urban Decay last month, and that is their the Fix Powder Foundation. Now, like I said, I already did a video with this as well as the liquid foundation. I did wear the powder on one side and the liquid foundation on the other side and did kind of like a side-by-side comparison and wear test and things like that. And originally when I got this, I didn't think I was gonna like it. I tend to find that powder foundations can be very heavy. They can end up being kind of cakey on your skin if you're not careful when you apply them. And so I didn't think I would like this, but it actually is a very lightweight foundation and a lightweight powder. It goes on the skin very natural and light. Now the coverage isn't going to give you full coverage because of that, but it is a nice coverage and it is a buildable coverage. And I ended up really liking this quite a bit, and I ended up reaching for it on days where I just wanted a really quick makeup out the door. So I'd put a little bit of the concealer, like I mentioned, under my eyes, dab that out, and then kind of apply a little bit of this powder foundation all over my face very quickly, and it was just a very easy quick look for me. And I like this with a brush to apply a little bit better, but I ended up actually using the sponge that comes with this quite often. Now originally, like in my video, I tested this out and I was like, oh, I don't like the way this applies. It feels a little bit too flimsy. It's a little bit weird. I don't think I'm going to use this, but like I said, there were a couple days where I was kind of a little bit in a hurry, just wanted my face to look a little bit more presentable. I just grabbed this real quick and just started putting the powder all over my face. And then I was like, oh, this actually works pretty decent. Like, I don't know why I was mad at it. I don't know why I didn't like it, because it actually does a pretty good job. It's just a flimsy little spongy thing that's not like amazing, but it like, I ended up liking it better than I thought it would. So I really like this powder. Now, because it is a little bit more lightweight and doesn't give crazy coverage, I think you can use it in conjunction with the foundation if you want a little bit better coverage. And there were a couple days where I did use both of these together, like this all over my face and then this to kind of set a little bit. And that worked great too. So it's great if you want to use it as a little bit additional coverage or on its own. So I really ended up liking this a lot. Also, both of these are the same shade. I got the shade 40WY, both of them, and I find that they're both pretty much an identical match too, so I really enjoyed that. All right, and then another new thing from Urban Decay was their Threesome palettes, which is a little face palette with a bronzer, highlight, and a blush. And originally, I also didn't think I would quite like this as much because I felt like it was just a little bit too natural when I did my demo with it. I felt like for this being the medium, because it comes in 3 shades, there's light, medium, and deep. I got the medium one, and I was like, for being a medium skin tone, like I felt like it was very, very fair. And I needed to build it up. Now, I'm someone who really likes to go ham with my bronzer, so I felt like maybe it's just me, and that's why. But I did end up liking it in the long run because it is a very buildable product, so I could build up the color to my preference, and I really like that. They are very, very finely milled, so I do feel like I'm actually going to be going through this really, really quickly because I do need to build it up for the look. I'm actually wearing it on my face today with a little bit of the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer, so I didn't have to build it up as much. But let me backtrack a little bit. I think for those of you who like a more natural looking face, who don't need to cake it on like a clown like I do, you will really enjoy this, because I feel like this is a product that gives a very, very natural look. The powders are very soft and very finely milled, so they're very, very easy to blend and just go on with a very, very natural look. And so I think that a lot of people will appreciate that, but for those who are like me, who like it to really pack it on, what's nice is that these are buildable, so you can build up the pigmentation if you need a little bit more than that natural look. And so for me, I actually think I might finish this up soon. I'm keeping it in my makeup basket this month, and I might continue to keep it in until I finish it up, because as you can see, I've already hit pan right here. Part of that is the reason for that is because this did come to me a little bit broken, so that you know, kind of contributed to some of the pan. But another big part of it is that because I've had to build this up so much, I've gone through the product really, really quickly. And because it is so finely milled, there is quite a bit of kick up when you do use it. So it's a very soft powder, so I feel like, again, for that reason, I've been going through this really, really quickly. But I do really, really like it, and I think I would definitely recommend this for those who want a more natural product for the face, because I don't think you'll go through it as quickly as I will if you're in it for just a little bit more of a natural look. I'm just kind of ridiculous with my products, so so I do really like it. Oh, additionally, and I meant to say this with this powder too, these two new products from Decay do have an interesting ingredient in them. They both include moringa seed extract, which I mentioned, I believe, also in my a demo of these products, and I wasn't quite sure what that was, but after doing a little bit more research about it, it is a kind of extract that has some good skincare benefits to it, and so I think that's really interesting. I'm not sure if that's a new thing Urban Decay is going to start doing with their skin products, but I do think it's really cool that they included a product like that, or an ingredient like that, that has such good skin benefits to it. So since I've been using this, I don't feel like I'm noticing anything crazy, you know, beneficial with this, but I do like the fact that brands are including skin benefiting ingredients to the products. I think that's a really cool thing, and want to note that. And if you want to learn a little bit more about moringa seed extract, I'll put a link in the description box so you can click on it and read more information about that too, in case you are curious. So anyways, I've really been enjoying this product as well. All right, moving on to two more products from Urban Decay. One is the All Nighter Ultra Matte Setting Spray. So this is a new setting spray to their All Nighter line. As you guys know, I do like the All Nighter setting spray. All of them I've tried. I really like them. I really enjoy them. I think they're great. This one I really was not sure if I would like, because it is a mattifying setting spray, and normally I'm not a big fan of mattifying setting sprays, because most of the time those kind of setting sprays end up being too drying, and I do have dry skin, so I, you know, wasn't sure. I was like, I may not like this, I don't know, because I do have dry skin, but I'm gonna give it a test and we'll see. Well, I actually did end up liking this quite a bit. In all honesty, I don't feel like, on my skin at least, that it felt any different than their normal all-nighter setting spray. I was worried that it would go on my skin and feel like, you know, like dry up my skin like other mattifying setting sprays do, but it didn't do that. Like, it felt really good on my skin, and so for that reason I really like it. Now, does that mean that if you have dry skin you need this? I mean, probably not. I'm just saying, like, I have dry skin and I'm letting you know it doesn't super dry out your skin. So maybe if you like picked up an all-nighter setting spray and accidentally grabbed this instead of the regular, you wouldn't hate it, I don't think. But I will say, at first I thought I wouldn't like it, because when I first used it, it spit out at me like a bunch of white spots. I took a picture, I'll put on the screen so you guys can see, and I was like, oh hecksters, no, this is not happening. I was like, this is not cool. So the spray got white dots all over my face, white dots all over my shirt, and I was like, no, what is the deal with that? And so I don't know if that's just something extra in there that helps with the mattifying benefits of this spray, but at first I was like, that's not cool. And I almost didn't give it another try, because I was like, I'm not going to deal with this spotting all over my makeup again. And then I thought to myself, well, maybe I just need to shake it up. I'm going to shake it up and give it a try. So I did shake it up, and then I actually did a little test spray on my arm to make sure before I actually sprayed my face again the next time I used it. And shaking it up actually worked. I didn't end up having any issues with spots any other time I've used it. But I, just for the sake of being on the safe side, I do shake it up every time I use, or I had been shaking it up every time I was using it, just to make sure I didn't get those spots. But I will say that even though I did like this setting spray, I'm not going to keep it. I'm actually going to pass it along to my daughter, My daughter is 16 years old. She does have oily skin, and so she always comes in here and steals some of my makeup anyways, oftentimes taking one of my setting sprays anyways. So I figured I would go ahead and pass this along to her, and she could have a setting spray that actually would be good for her skin type. So moving on to the last product from Urban Decay, and this is their all-nighter face primer. So this is their long wear foundation grip. It's supposed to prep, smooth, and perfect. And the back, I like what this says. It says, like a stage 5 clinger, all-nighter face primer grips your foundation and won't want to let go. Our lightweight formula goes on sheer to perfect your skin, leaving it feeling smooth, hydrated, and slightly lifted. Now, I'm someone who's super skeptical about face primers because I always feel like, are they really doing anything? I can't tell. Really, the only way that I'm able to tell a difference in a primer, and if it works, is to do a side-by-side wear test where I do primer on one side and one side of my face without primer to really see, because how else do you know? I don't know how people test it and not know, like, how do you know the difference, you know what I mean? So I did in fact do that one day. I put the primer on one side of my face. I took notes. I'm going to go to my phone so I don't mess it up, what I'm planning to say. So I started my makeup at 10 a.m. I applied the primer to half of my face. And then an interesting thing, this didn't happen every single time I used this, but I noticed it here and there. So I don't know if there was some other factor that factored into it, but I noticed that when I use this, it sometimes had this warming or cooling tingling effect to my skin. I don't know. If anybody else has tried this, let me know if you've experienced that, because I don't know if it was this or something else, but I feel like it was this. Anyways, I did finish my face at 10:20. I noticed after I applied my foundation that I had a better, fuller coverage on this side with the primer, especially under my eyes. It was noticeably different, and I almost felt like I didn't need concealer with it, but I did use concealer. And then I did take photos. So I tried to take photos so you can see, because I was like, how interesting that I was getting better coverage on the side with a primer, which makes sense. It's supposed to be a gripping primer to help you get better coverage, right? And I was actually noticing that right off the bat with the foundation, so much so that I felt like I probably didn't even need concealer. Like, it was really giving me good coverage right under my eyes, and I was really, really impressed. So I did end up using concealer anyways, just because, you know, I just did. I don't know. And I tried to take a picture of my face with just the foundation so you guys can see the difference side by side of how well the coverage was with the primer side. And I looked at the pictures, and I don't think you can really see what I'm seeing. I don't think you can notice, but I'm going to put them on the screen anyways just so you can see, just in case you can tell which side was better, you know what I mean? I don't think you can, but I was trying to. Hopefully you guys can see. Anyways, but that is something I wrote down and I noticed that. So, okay. So then later that day, I ended up doing my makeup, and I did film one video that day. It was my Beautylish Lucky Bag unboxing, so I really quickly just filmed that. And I did take some footage of my skin up close after having finished completely all of my makeup. I have some footage I'm going to show you guys of what my face looks like that day side by side, so I'll insert that here for you guys. Okay, so really quick on my face today, I used the new Urban Decay primer on this on my face. I'm doing a little side by side test. And all over my face, I'm wearing the Pure Cosmetics foundation, the new Urban Decay concealer. I use my mixed powder, and then a little bit of the Urban Decay illuminizing powder. Then my bronzer is the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil, It Cosmetics Bye Pores Blush, the Makeup Forever highlight, and then the Revolution setting spray with also a little bit of the Morphe setting spray. On my lips today, I'm wearing the classic shade of the Pure Times Barbie lipstick. Lashes are the Benefit Roller Lash Mascara. Okay, so I'm doing a little check-in for my side-by-side comparison of the Urban Decay primer. I've got the primer on this side, no primer on this side. So it is 110, and that's just under 3 hours since I applied my makeup. I finished my makeup at 10:20, and I was looking in the mirror and was noticing something, so that's why I figured I'd check in right now. On the side with the primer, I'm noticing less creasing and less of makeup breakup here in my smile lines. Now, my makeup always tends to break up a little bit in my smile lines. It's typical. I feel like everybody's does. But I am noticing that the side with the primer, there is less of that than this side. So I'm going to zoom in and show you guys so you guys can see what it looks like. And there's a little update. So I feel like already this primer is definitely doing something. I took a note earlier that on the side with the primer, I feel like I got better coverage, especially under my under eye circles. I think even now you can kind of see like the coverage just looks a little bit better under my eyes and things like that. So I feel like definitely this primer is totally doing something. So I ended up wearing that makeup for close to 11 hours. I think I did a checkup around like 9:20 or ish. So it was like 11 hours of wear time. So I had worn that makeup all day. When I do the check-in, I did it on my phone, so I know the quality's not that great, but it's better than nothing. I didn't want to come in here under my studio lights and set everything up, but I did a check-in on my phone. I'm going to put that on the screen in a minute, but that was after 11 hours. I was outside for several hours because we were at my daughter's soccer game. It was super, super cold. My nose was getting all like cold and runny, so I kept kind of like rubbing it like that. So there was wear from that, but there definitely was a noticeable difference from the primer side versus the side without primer. So you're going to see that in this footage here. So it's currently 9:17. This is the side with the primer. Definitely feel like it has better wear. I was out in the cold, so I kept rubbing my nose. But you definitely can see that there's a lot of wear right here. More so on the side without primer than with primer. Overall, I think everything looks relatively the same. I still feel like the coverage is a little bit better here, but the biggest difference is right here where I was rubbing my nose. So I feel like that shouldn't count, but I feel like right here, there's a lot of like makeup breakup there compared to this side. So I would say that I feel like the primer does help makeup grip and last longer, as well as help the coverage. So quick check-in before I take my makeup off. So anyways, hopefully you guys can see, like I said, I know it's like a footage from my phone, so it's not the best quality of video, but there was definitely a difference that I was impressed enough by. One of the things that I feel like I noticed the most, that I was most impressed by, was my smile lines, because the side with the primer had definitely less noticeable like creasing in my smile lines, whereas like every foundation, no matter how good it is, always still somewhat creases in my smile lines, but when I wore that primer, it was almost, there was almost no creasing there. So I was really, really impressed by that. So overall, all that to say is that I definitely believe that this is not a gimmick of a primer. I feel like it actually did work. The side-by-side comparisons really had, there was some noticeable differences in my opinions, and I've tried many other primers where I feel like there's not really that much of a difference, you know what I mean? So kind of a little bit of a gimmick. This one I definitely think is a great primer. It really does grip the foundation. It really does help the longevity and long wear of a foundation. So yeah, I was really impressed by that. Additionally, I was thinking for some reason this would be like a really matte primer or a really thick primer, something that I wouldn't like because I have dry skin, but it goes on very smooth, very lightweight. It almost feels like a moisturizer. It goes on like a lotion and absorbs really quickly. I really have enjoyed it quite a bit. So yeah, that was a win for me. All right, I almost forgot about this. So this was something that was new to me last month. It's not new to the makeup community, but it is the Urban Decay All Nighter Long Wear Mattifying Weightless Waterproof Setting Powder. Longest name ever. Anyways, I did get this sent new in PR to me, and I was hoping to try it last month, but I was trying so many other products and powders and things like that that I did not get a chance to try this. So this will actually go back into my makeup basket for me to test out this month, and I'll hopefully have an update for you guys next month, even though it's not a new product. But in case we're curious, if you remember it from my makeup basket, I haven't tried it yet, but I will, and I'll update you guys later. So let's go ahead and move on to a new brand finally. So really quickly, I wanted to mention this lipstick from the brand Vive Cosmetics, which is a Latina woman-owned brand, and I'm always excited to get products from them and support their brand. I think it's a really great brand. Anyways, they sent me a couple of lipsticks, one being a bullet lipstick, which I actually have not tried yet, and then this liquid matte lipstick. Now, if you know me, you know that I'm not super big into like lipsticks all the time. I'm usually always wearing gloss, but I actually did wear this lipstick quite often last month. I think the color is absolutely beautiful. I do have video as well as pictures of this on my lips. You guys will see here. The color is La Patrona, and it is absolutely stunning. Now, it is a bold color, but I feel like it's one of those colors that's a little bit more neutral slash quote unquote wearable. So like it's not so bold that you only feel like you could wear it like in the evening. I feel like it's really daytime appropriate for such a bold color. Like I think it's so pretty. It's so, as you can kind of tell, which you'll see in the photos, but it's a little bit more of a like rosy red neutral color. I don't know, it's just absolutely stunning, and I really enjoyed it so much. I can't believe how much I wore it last month actually. Additionally, it is a liquid matte lipstick, so it is kiss proof, transfer proof, and it's very long wearing. And even though it is a matte liquid lipstick, it's not uncomfortable. Like, it doesn't super draw out my lips, because in addition to having dry skin, I also have dry lips. So that's another reason why I prefer, you know, lip balms and lip glosses more. But I didn't find this to be very uncomfortable or too drying or anything like that. I felt it was very comfortable, very long lasting, and I really enjoyed it, especially this color. Love this color so much. All right, moving on to the brand Revolution Pro. I received several items in PR from Revolution Pro, and I played around with them the majority of last month. Now, I did film a video testing out all those products, but that video is not up yet. That video should probably go up within the next 2 videos on my channel, so stay tuned for that. I did film it in January, but it'll be up this month. So anyways, but I have been playing around with these products a lot this last month. Let me kind of go through them a little bit quickly, because this video is already getting super long. So I want to talk about this first, because this one was a fail for me. This is their translucent pressed setting powder. I think the packaging is so pretty, so it kind of bums me out that this is a fail for me, because it's like so cute. But it is a white translucent it's a white translucent setting powder, but I found that it was a little bit too stark white. Like, it doesn't actually go on translucent. Like, I put it on, I feel like I just like have white all over my face. So for that reason, it was a fail for me. Additionally, I feel like it's a very heavy powder, so when I put it on my face, I felt like I could like feel the powder. It was very heavy, which is definitely not my preference for a powder, so I didn't keep using this. I did use this in my demo video, so you guys will see what it looks like on me, so you'll see that when you see that video. But I didn't like that. I actually passed this along to my daughter. She is more pale than I, and so I figured maybe she might like it. I don't know. So anyways, that was a little bit of a fail for me, unfortunately. Moving on to the setting spray. They sent me their Hydro Matte Fixing Spray. This has hyaluronic acid and vitamin E. So even though it's a matte setting spray, it has some good like hydrating qualities to it, which I really like. Now, I mentioned, I believe, in my makeup basket videos, a makeup basket video for January, that I was pretty familiar with the Revolution Pro or Makeup Revolution line of setting sprays. They used to be my favorite way back in the day. And this seems very similar from what I remember it being. It smells the same, which is really nice. It almost has like a, I keep thinking when I smell it that it smells like cherry almond. That's what I think of when I smell this. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, is cherry almond a scent? I'm not quite sure, but that's the scent I get. So it's a pleasant scent. It sprays out really nicely. Even though it's a mattifying setting spray, it doesn't leave me dry. It feels really good. So I really enjoy this, and it's affordable. I think it's a great setting spray. So I actually, like, you can't really see, there's nothing for me to tell like how far down this is, but just from feeling it, I'm pretty sure I've already used half of it, because I go pretty ham with my setting spray. So I really enjoyed that. Moving on, what was the next item I have? Okay, the cheek tint. So I was sent a liquid blush from them. This is their Blush and Lift liquid blush. It looks like this. It has a pretty big doe foot applicator. I wasn't sure I would like this, because I'm not someone who typically likes like cream or liquid products for the face products, aside from like foundation. So I didn't think I would like this, but I actually ended up liking this a lot, and I reached for it quite a bit last month. It blends on very beautifully. You tap a couple dots on your cheek, and you could tap it out with your finger, a beauty blender or whatever, but I actually ended up using it quite a bit with like a duo fiber stippling brush, and I feel like it blended out so pretty on the cheeks. Very easy, very natural looking, but you could also build up the color too. And I also found that it worked really well even over powder products. Normally with liquid products, you want to do them before you do powder, but there were a couple days where I kind of would powder my face not thinking about it and then go to try this, and it actually blended over really well. It didn't really disturb the makeup underneath, so I was really impressed by it. Okay, this one, I got their Skin Finish Luminescence, which when I first got this, I wasn't sure if it was a highlighter, if it was like a luminizing setting powder, I'm not sure. Well, come to find out, this is a highlighter. I had hoped that maybe it might be a dupe for my Urban Decay Naked Illuminizing setting powder, and I found out in my demo video that it wasn't, it's not quite that. It's too luminizing. It's definitely a highlighter. But anyways, when I received it, it came to me broken. I did attempt to fix it, and I was was able to fix that, took some pictures of it, but when I fixed it, it did hard pan. So I was like, okay, so I was trying to use it with a brush and it wasn't like, it was hard panned. So I tried to scrape it a little bit to see if I could get the hard pan up and see if I could use it. And in the process of doing that, it just crumbled again. So what I do have it as now is like I crumbled it up all the way and put it in this little tin can to use as a loose highlighter. So there's that. I don't know how much I will actually use it like this as a loose highlighter, so this might end up in the garbage, unfortunately. There is a little bit on here left in like this little pan that I could kind of use up. So yeah, I'll probably do that, but unfortunately I didn't get a ton of use out of this last month because of all my issues with it, trying to repress it and all that stuff. But the couple of times I did end up using it, I actually really liked it. I think it's a very, very nice, beautiful, glowy product. So there is that. I would have liked to try it had it not broken, but it is what it is. Okay, and then this is like my standout favorite product that I received from Revolution Pro. This I think is going to be a new favorite product of mine. I actually have already repurchased it in a different color. So this is their, I don't know, what is it actually called? The name's not on here, but I think it's their like Define something brow pencil. It's just basically like a skinny brow pencil. But I'm going to go off at a tangent, just letting you guys know. I'm so impressed by this. For one, it's only $8. The packaging is really weighty, so it feels luxurious. That surprised me. When I first pulled it out of the box and used it, I was like, oh, it's weighty. So it has like the feel of a more expensive product. I like the gold caps, the lids. So you have the pencil on one side. It does have a spoolie, which I appreciate. But what impressed me the most, and this is going to be where you guys might laugh at me, but this is impressive to me. In this product, you're getting 0.004 ounces. Now, if you know anything about brow products, which I have done a lot of research because when I was looking for drugs, I think I talked about this in my drugstore video or my like relying on the hype makeup video, where I was talking about trying to find a brow pencil that was affordable, but she still got the most amount of product. Because most brow pencils only give you 0.001 ounce or 0.002 ounce. I feel like the 2 ounce is more standard, but whether it was a drugstore product or a high-end brow product, you're only getting the 0.22 ounces. So it's kind of ridiculous if you think about how much you pay for a brow pencil when you're only getting 0.22 ounces of product. It's minuscule. Well, this one has 0.004 ounces. Have I been saying 22? I've been meaning 0.002, 0.001. This one gives you 0.004 ounces of product. It's only $8, so it's one of the cheapest brow pencils I found with the most product in it. So that alone really, really impressed me. Okay, so aside from the price and the amount of product you get, and the weightiness, the luxurious feel of this pencil, I feel like the actual product itself is beautiful. It's not too dry, but not too soft and waxy. So my preference for a brow pencil, especially a skinny brow pencil, is one that's a little bit more on the dry side, but I know that's not everybody's preference. I feel like this is perfectly right in between, where it's a little bit drier, but not too dry. It's still soft enough, but not too waxy, which I hate a waxy brow pencil or one that's way too soft. So it's the perfect consistency in my opinion. Let me go ahead and do a little so you guys can see. I like it. I like the consistency of it. I like that it has enough softness to where you don't feel like you're crazy tugging on your brows, but it's not too soft to where it breaks off too easily. So anyways, I think the consistency is perfect for my preference. Now, let's talk about the downside of this brow pencil. It only comes in 3 shades, which is like, come on. This is such a good brow pencil. It's such an affordable price. You need to have more than 3 shades. I think the shades are dark brown, which is this one. I'm not wearing it today, but I used it in most of the time last month. I feel like the color, the dark brown, is a decent match for me. I feel like it's a pretty like spot on match for my actual hair color. So it wasn't too dark for me, but I did, like I said, repurchase a backup of it, and I decided to try, I think, the warm brown color. So there's dark brown, warm brown, and then ash brown are the 3 colors it's available in, which I know is not going to be suitable for everybody, so that's kind of a bummer. That's the only downside to this, but if you can fit into one of those brow colors, I definitely recommend this. This is such a win. So while I think the dark brown works for me, I really was curious to try a little bit of a lighter shade because I wasn't sure if it was a little bit too dark for me, so I wanted to try one that's a little bit lighter. So I'm going to hopefully see if that color works for me. Otherwise I might just go back to purchase another of the dark brown shade because it does work for me. It's just a little bit darker than I would prefer. All right, the last products that I received from Revolution Pro are their palettes. So these are their Regeneration palettes. Now of their Regeneration palettes, I think they have like 4, maybe 5 of these palettes. I was sent 2 of them. This is their Legendary palette and this is their Mirage palette. Now I did use the Legendary palette more than anything last month. I did use the Mirage palette a couple times. I don't think I took as many photos. I think maybe I have 1 or 2 photos using this palette because I used them a lot, but I didn't take photos every single time because sometimes I just forget. Anyways, but I used this palette the most. Now this palette, the Legendary palette, you guys all said you were the most interested in, and I think that's just because this one has a little bit more of the cooler tones. This is the palette that has the marbled shadows in it, whereas the Mirage palette is very much more basic, has more of your warm tones, and this one doesn't have any of the marbled shades in it. So I did play with this enough to know that I really like it. I think it's really good quality. Both of them are, but I have some things to say about the other palette. I think I was surprised. Like, I wasn't sure I was going to like these palettes because in my experience, when I've tried other eyeshadows from the Revolution brand, but it was under the Makeup Revolution portion of their brand, which they have like sub-brands. I really don't understand them quite fully. So if you guys know what they are, feel free to let me know. But I know they have the I Heart Makeup division of their brand, they have the Makeup Revolution division of their brand, and then they have the Revolution Pro division of their brand. And so the Makeup Revolution palettes I've tried, and it was the Emily Noel The Once palette. I so badly wanted to love that palette. I liked the color scheme. I did think the mattes were pretty good, but the metallics or shimmers in that palette were just not good. So I wasn't sure if I would like these, but the quality of these palettes I think is definitely up a notch from the Makeup Revolution line. And I can't speak for the whole line, but at least the one I tried, the Once palette, this is better quality. So I really like these. I was really impressed by them. The mattes perform and blend beautifully. Most of the time I use this, I didn't need an eyeshadow primer. I would usually just have concealer on my lids or whatever, or nothing, and they worked beautifully. The shimmers in these palettes work beautifully. Don't need a setting spray. They're just great. They work great. I think there's like $15 palettes, maybe a little bit less. They're really affordable, and you're getting quite a bit of shades, so I really liked them. I will say that I think, even though I didn't use this one as much as the other palette, I think I like this one a little bit better. I find that the colors are a little bit more my speed. They're like my type of colors. And I feel like you kind of get a little bit, just a smidge more variety in looks, because this one you have a mix of like reds, oranges, and browns, and you have some lighter shades up here. So you can kind of get like, a red crease color or a brown crease color or an orange crease color, and you also have the highlight shades. Whereas this one, I noticed that I felt like every look I created almost looked the same. Even though I used almost every shade in this palette, I try to use different shades every single time I created a look, but yet every look I created I felt like looked the same. Why? Because you have so many shades in here that are very, very similar. So you, like, say this shade, for example, Armor, and then right down here you have the shade Suited. Both of those look almost the same. Like, this one's a little bit darker than this, but they look the same. Like, one's blended out on the eyes, they're the same. And then this shade right next to it, Deal, it's a very lighter shade. It's kind of like a plummy purple shade, but it's like so similar to the other purples. Then you have like a pink, and then this kind of like corally color and a red, but essentially every look kind of looked purpley pink on me. So that was one thing I was like, I don't love this. I kept trying to get a variety of looks, but every look I created was a little bit the same. So that's my one downside about this. Now this one has a mix, like I said, of the marbled shades as well as some just regular metallic shades in here. And I was a little bit iffy if the marbled shades would work, because I've had experience with other brands, other palettes with marbled shades that were just like, they look pretty in the pan, but they're not that great on the eyes, and they're a little bit difficult to work with. These, I found that they actually do apply really great on the eyes. They are, I will say, a little bit drier of a formula than the other regular metallics in the palette, but they still perform, and I didn't necessarily need an eyeshadow like like a setting spray, like, or to wet my brush for them to show up and perform. I do feel like that works a little bit better for them to show up a little bit more foiled, but it didn't need it, which I really appreciated, because others I've tried did need help. These ones did not. But I will say, just overall in general, I kind of am getting the feeling that eyeshadow palettes with marbled shades in them are a little bit of a gimmick, because I feel like in the pan they look so pretty, but on the eyes, once you mix these colors together, it's just not as pretty as in the pan. Not to say they're ugly or not pretty, but they're just not as pretty. I think it's just more pretty to look at in a palette than on the eyes. Like, every time I used a color like this one, it's pretty, but when I put it on the eyes, it wasn't as impressive as I kind of was hoping or imagined it would be. So there's that, but it wasn't a bad palette. Overall, I was really impressed by these palettes and really enjoyed using them. And yeah, I would recommend them. I think they're great if you're looking for a more affordable option. There's lots of colors. And like I said, I think there's several other color schemes of this palette, but these just happen to be the two they sent me. And so anyways, if this is a color scheme that you like and you like wearing these colors, go for it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. All I'm saying is that I noticed that every look I created, I felt like looked, for the most part, almost the same. So that was my only downside or negative thing, if I had to say something negative about the palettes. But yeah, overall, really impressed with that brand. Would love to try more from the brand, and I look forward for you guys to see my demo video coming up with it. So stay tuned if you want to hear a little bit more about the products and actually see them in action. Alright, finally, lastly, I have the mini palettes from Juvia's place to talk about. Now, I did use every single one of these palettes on my channel. I will link the videos. The first video I did, I used the berries palette as well as the violets palette. I did one look on one eye with the violets, one look on the other eye with the berries, and I also did use, I think, the nudes palette in that video as well. But then I also additionally did an IGTV video tutorial using just the nudes palette, and then I recently uploaded my tutorial using the chocolates palette. So if you haven't seen those videos, I will link them. Definitely check them out and give them a view and show them some love. But these palettes I think are beautiful. I'm really impressed by them. Now, they are a little bit more expensive compared to some of the other palettes that they carry, considering I think these are like $13.99 a piece. They are smaller palettes. You're only getting 6 shades. That being said, though, I feel like, and I could be wrong, but I feel like the quality of these new mini palettes are up a notch from some of their other palettes. Now, Juvia's Place palettes in general, I think the quality is beautiful. They perform amazingly, and they are just really affordable. So it's like almost, how do you get better at such an affordable price? But I do feel like these are a little bit better. So like, especially the purple palette, the violets palette, this impressed me. Like, I really wasn't expecting, like, when I used this, I was like blown away, because purples are really notoriously difficult to create, to formulate, and to work with and things like that. But when I used this in my eyes, I was like, wow, these just showed up. They were so pigmented, they blended beautifully. The quality is so beautiful. And I feel like same with the berries, like these were just so beautiful. These shadows, the metallic ones in the berries palette, stunning, love. And then even the chocolates, while it's a lot more of a neutral palette, a little bit more of a boring palette, I feel like the quality is just so good. The only palette that I wasn't as impressed with, and maybe it's just because it's so like nude, which it's the nude palette, was this. But I think the mattes are beautiful. I did struggle a little bit with this shadow, but other than that, I felt like they all performed so good, and the quality I just feel like is up a notch a little bit compared to some of their other palettes. But yeah, I think my favorites clearly, and I think a lot of people would say this, the favorite palettes are the berries and the violets, because they're the colorful palettes and they're the more unique palettes. So if you don't have these colors in your collection, I would recommend them. And if you wanted them, I would recommend them. I think they're beautiful, stunning palettes, simple but just stunning. So anyways, that is it. That's everything that I had tested out and tried out last month, and my updated thoughts on them. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Please don't hesitate to let me know your thoughts and opinions on these products if you have tried them, because I love that other people can come to this video and not only hear my opinions, but they can read the comments and hear your thoughts and opinions on them as well, because we are all different. Makeup works differently for different people, and I can only really share with you what, what is working for me and my opinions after trying them. But it's always interesting to hear what other people have to say about the same products, whether you agree or disagree. I love to hear from you, as well as like if something's not working for me, maybe you have tips on how to make it work. I do this as a YouTuber. I create beauty content, but I'm not a professional, and I'm not not perfect. So, you know, I always enjoy hearing you guys' help and tips and things like that, so share away. But yeah, with all that being said, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I just want to thank you so much for watching, and until next time, much love and hugs to you. Bye, beauty babes. Mwah!